Antonio is the king of short shorts, though.
Yeah, I have pairs of underwear that are longer than some of my shorts.
Come on, booty boy.
Booty boy 42069.
This name just gets longer and longer.
Bourbon
adding
balloon
titles.
booty
My
boy.
aliases. I have to do like a one in the same affidavit and lords above. I need like 2 pages for that nonsense.
He's got the tiny shorts, he's got the balloons, and he's got the bourbon and 420. What more do you need?
And 69.
And
Oh,
more
I'm
importantly,
sorry.
the 69.
And 69.
Very important. People
Is
forget
there-
about that part.
Is there not more? I feel like there might be like
People
one more.
don't appreciate that part as much.
I don't know, Antonio. Let's dig deeper into this. Like,
I don't know. They always add things to it. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a new facet of my personality.
but what do you want to see in your screen name?
All
Yeah.
of that and more.
Yes,
one more,
and
just one more.
I can't think of it. I know there's probably
Bacon.
one. Huh?
Bacon
Bacon boy.
Burger boy.
Ooh, I
Burger
like
boy.
that.
Boyga.
I like burger.
Boyga boy.
Bugga boy.
Not
Not boyga
burgers.
boy. Also bussin' boy?
Bussin' boy 42069.
Hey y'all, welcome to Sit Down Loser. We're watching a movie. My name's Dahlia,
I'm Sky.
I'm Antonio.
And I'm Ketzel.
and we're just 4 manic pixie dream girls who watch movies that everyone else has watched, except one of us is a loser who hasn't. Now that Valentine's Day is over and Tone Zone's back, it's time to get bitter.
That's right, folks. It's Sit Down Loser's very first anti-Valentine's Day episode. Do you hate mushy love stories? Do you just love to watch heartbreak? Do you not feel a single feeling ever? Well, boy, howdy, do we have a film for you.
Today we're watching a movie that had every person that has gone through a rough breakup or had their heart broken into a million pieces say, hey, you know what? I would do that. Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, released in 2004, directed by Michael Gondry. And today's loser is...
Antonio and Ketzel.
I did not know that this is what this movie was about. At all.
Life
I'm
is sad.
coming out.
And I never want
I
to come
want
back
the
into your
world
brain.
I'm coming out.
Coming out, so you better get the money started. All right, royalties.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
just like Wake Me Up. Could go in so many different directions. So, why do we pick this?
First, I would like to say
Well.
that when I did a couple of these outlines, I was getting high on weed.
Sweet boy 42069.
And I think when I started this outline, it hadn't hit me yet. It kind of started hitting me towards the end, but I think in the next outline we will definitely see the effects of that. But this movie, why did we pick this? Universal acclaim from both audiences and critics. It won Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars.
We love an original story.
Also, it's a kind of an anti-Valentine's Day movie, and I thought that'd be fun.
Y'all
for
hate love?
us to do.
Perfect.
This is for you. It's perfect.
I hate love so
Let
much.
me hear y'all in
I
the
skipped
back.
the last episode.
After we come off from other movies saying, I love love.
Yeah, that was literally the three of us. And now that Antonio's back, we're all filled with hate.
Oh no.
What happened to me?
I
Who
gave
hurt me?
Come.
Well, I know that.
Anyway, other reason, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. Wow. Listen.
And this was
Listen.
This is when the weed hit, right?
This is
the weed.
this is all of us. If they came up to all of us, any of us in a bar and said, hey, we like your vibe. Will you be our third? Everyone would say yes without hesitation at all. So fast.
I would not because I would not.
I
I would not fuck Jim Carrey.
That's exactly why.
I love Jim
I
Carrey.
agree with you.
Thank you, Dolly. Thank you.
Antonio, you me, baby, you me.
Just like God intended.
I love him.
Like
I'm
he's
like,
a
you're
cool
making
person.
some
and all.
assumptions.
Yeah, I was like, what? I'm gonna let this.
You know what? Who cares? What do you know about this movie?
No.
Stop
Hold
the
up.
fighting.
Stop the madness. I agree with Antonio. Jim Carrey is a cool guy. The talent jumps out. I just feel like he unnerves me a little bit. And I don't want him anywhere near my pussy.
Not again.
If Jim Carrey was the guy who's supposed to play in the black phone, then you know what? Just as right.
Woo!
Just as right.
He's not wrong. Hey, that boy That bourbon balloon boy, not wrong.
Listen, I've had a crush on Jim Carrey for so long. Since I
Since
was
The
little.
Mask.
I actually didn't see that till I was like older.
I cannot say I've actually paid attention to the entirety of The Mask. I know that I've probably been in the room, but
But I don't know,
actually don't know anything about it.
Ace Ventura, Liar Liar. Like, he's just so handsome. I don't know.
Didn't see. As we know from previous episodes,
You don't like comedy, so boom, boom, boom.
Bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide, a step in the room.
Okay, anyway, what do you guys know about this movie?
I will start. This is one of my brother's favorite movies, so I always knew that. He left me a bunch of DVDs when he went to college, and this was one of them. And I don't know much about the plot other than the fact that it is a very sad romantic film. Kate Winslet is the manic pixie dream girl archetype that kind of started it all, I think, or didn't start it, but like kind of really brought it to the forefront of like the 2000s. Is it 2000s? Yes,
2004.
Yeah. And I'm very curious to see that come to fruition with, like, you know, what possible discourse we could have about it. But in terms of plot, I actually don't know. I don't know very much about it. I know it's romantic and sad. He forgets things, maybe? Did somebody forget something?
I know that now, apparently.
Yeah.
I know that from the Instagram stories. I guess technology is used to erase people.
I had no
I don't know.
idea.
Who's to say?
You?
You too? You guys will know.
You two
Don't
say?
look at my stories.
The stories of the podcast that we're all in.
My
no, that was
personal
on my
story.
personal.
Hey,
So-
let me quickly... You can cut this out. I really got to scratch my back.
No, we're keeping that,
That
in,
can
guy.
stay.
I'm
She
keeping
can
that
stay.
in the video.
Hold on.
Shantae, that stays.
Does your leg shake when you do that?
Do you do a little thumpy noise?
Boom, got him.
Yeah. All right. So that's all we know.
All right. Well, the Rotten Tomatoes scores and such. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92, audiences gave it a 94, and Google users gave it a 93.
Oh my god.
Dude, that's a
Solid
fucking A.
Wow.
You'd be proud of your
Wow, wow,
students
wow.
for that.
Cool.
Not like these
Oh my
guys.
god.
No, we
had
didn't.
this
We
conversation
did not
yesterday.
go to school.
I never wanted to be there.
I was
Ah!
a shiny Pokemon. 1 in 16 chances to catch me.
Me, I was always at school. I think there was maybe 2 times where I didn't go to school my entire high school career.
I want you to
Wow.
know that, yeah, my mom used to say, hey, like, if there's ever a day you just don't feel like going to school, like you need a break, you can have like that little like cheat day. Ask me if I ever took her up on it.
Nope.
Did you?
Dude.
Of course not.
You're like, I'm such a responsible
He was
child.
such an
I didn't
intensive,
need
like,
to.
Scholar in school.
And me and Antonio were like,
Lottie dottie
If it
dot.
happens, it
I'm
happens.
sad.
Ketzel, we would have been motherfucking best friends in high school, TBH.
You would have been part of the crew, baby.
I would have.
Baby.
anyway, actors.
Actors. Yes.
Actors. We got Jim Carrey. We got Kate Winslet, Kristen Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, and Tom Wilkinson.
Is
I
it
didn't know
Kirsten
I
or
didn't-
Kristen?
Marky Ruffalo.
Kristen? I didn't
think
know
it's
Ruffles
Kirsten.
was in this.
Kirsten? Sorry. I always said
Yes.
Kristen.
Mark Ruffalo's in it.
Yes, he is.
I know all of these people, and I probably know. Well, I mean, I know all these people except for Tom Wilkinson, but I might actually know him. I just
Don't know. Yeah.
he's going to be
Know
one of
the
those
face,
faces.
not
Like,
the name.
oh, okay.
Face to a name.
What do we think about all that?
We already know how we feel about Jim Carrey. We're gonna just
Yeah.
right over there.
I had no idea that Kristen, Mark, and Elijah were in this. I'm so excited for Mark Ruffalo. I'm already horny.
Like when I was in high school, everybody would say, "Oh, I love Mark Ruffalo because of his Ruffalo ruffles because his hair was just so like swoopy."
So curly and wavy.
Yeah.
I just want to run my fingers through it.
Yeah, I think 13 Going on 30 was the movie
That was it for
for
me.
me.
That's a good one.
He was hot boy of the year.
So hot. Hot boy. Hot ruffle boy.
And nice.
And he's so nice. And Elijah Wood is a little hobbit boy. And I like that about him.
What we kind of glazed over the poor girl, Kirsten Dunst. What's
Kirsten.
your thought? Kirsten
Kirsten
Kirsten.
Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. How do we feel about her?
She's all right.
Antoine's in love with her.
I like
Really?
her because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly for that reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Spider-Man
though?
fame.
Interview with the Vampire.
I did not like her in
Oh.
that. I did not like her.
Maria
in that.
She was
Antoinette.
so perfectly annoying.
Bring It On.
And Bring It On.
Bring It
Bring
On.
It On.
Bring It On is where I know her the best from.
I know her the
Okay,
best
gay.
from Spider-Man.
Spooderman.
I mean that too, Spider-Man. But
Please.
Bring It On is
You
definitely.
know,
one of the ones.
No.
I think I really liked her in Spider-Man, and I think it goes back to me not knowing what I was like, sexuality-wise.
Gay.
I think Spider-Man was also a movie where I was like,
Me gay.
That Doc Ock, huh?
what?
That hen.
Doc Ock.
Oh,
So, do you guys have any expectations for this movie at all?
I know I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it, and I know I'm gonna cry.
really?
I don't know if I'm gonna
Wow.
cry,
That's so
but
strong.
I'm fairly sure I'm probably gonna like this.
really.
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued by you two. You guys are so
For
interesting.
an anti-Valentine's Day, I'm a little shocked.
I am a little shocked too.
Well, I know if it's something my brother really liked, we have very similar tastes in movies that I'm gonna love it. So, unless it's bad, unless it didn't age well, we'll find out.
I haven't seen this movie in 2 years,
I think it's been at least 4 years for me.
I've never seen it.
and I've only seen it once, so I guess we'll all find out.
Honestly, this is just not one of the ones that was on my radar. I honestly, so when this comes to the podcast part, it being one of those movies that everyone should watch, sit down, loser, and watch it, I was like, I didn't know this would technically make that. But all right.
It's one of the big films that everyone is like, this is one of
This is
this
cinema.
is one of the best films. Yeah,
Like
this is
100
cinema.
movies you should watch
Yeah,
before you die.
This is
type
one of them.
thing.
Wow.
Right.
I think when it just released,
I think because it
2004.
is so original.
I think you'll like it. Very thought-provoking.
Ooh, I love a good thought-provoking movie.
Yeah.
You love a sleeper agent too.
Oh, God.
Not saying that's in this. I don't.
I was
I don't
like,
think so.
What? Sleeper agent? Is he really a spy?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Let's go see this movie, guys.
How are you feeling emotionally?
I'm all right. It wasn't as sad as I thought it was going to be. It was sad, don't get me wrong, but it didn't end sad. You know what I mean?
It had a very happy ending, and I was
It
really
did.
glad when you realized, with her, well, I'll leave it out, but when you realize that the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie, somewhere in the middle, it's really happy. I was like, oh, that's really cute. I'm so glad this is gonna end the way it is.
Thank God. Thank fucking God.
That's so sweet.
I don't think it ended happy, but that's
I think
just
it
me.
ended hopeful because we don't know what
Hopeful.
happens.
Hopeful
No,
is happy to me.
And we'll discuss. It's they're about to make the same mistakes again, but hopefully with a different perspective. But it's but that's life, Mama, and that is hopeful to me.
They both
Better than being
wanted
empty.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
I
knew-
think that's
they
a
knew what
happier
they were
thing
Yeah, they knew what they were getting
it's definitely
into.
a positive. Hope is
versus
definitely a positive.
oh, we're
ending.
never gonna see each other again now because now we know, So Jim Carrey. Let me just say, I want to start off because we see him immediately. He do be looking good. He do
Oh,
be
I
yeah.
don't want to
Do be
hear.
honest.
I don't
Like-
want to hear what you have
You
to
know
say
what?
anymore.
At certain points, I was like, huh, I'm not
Yeah.
hateful.
Yeah.
I just am so happy.
You could
to
have
be
started
here.
with this movie to show me who Jim
I'm
Carrey
so-
was.
That's what
Happy to
I'm
be here
saying.
to-
If I saw this when I was younger, I would have had a much more positive, attractive light on Jim Carrey than seeing his cat Olaf.
Yeah. Olaf?
From
I'm
a series
Olaf.
of unfortunate events.
Not Frozen.
I know,
you
I know.
dumbass.
Anyway, I checked out for
Literally,
that.
the only thing you pulled from that was you're like, Olaf?
I like warm hugs.
Yeah, I want to gloss over that too because
Anyway.
No, I completely agree with Tony. If this had been my first fucking introduction to Jim Carrey, I'd be like, okay, I have some sort of like flame in my heart for him because I'm
like nerdy emo. I had never seen this
sad
movie.
Boy, a little sad.
You know, you gotta
sad
like
boy.
retcon this back into my origin story for this to work for me.
I want my memories of Jim Carrey deleted and only this movie in it. And Sonic.
Thank you.
Guys, you're gonna make Dahlia cry. Her eyes are already watering.
Oh my god, would I use the technology of this movie to erase something from my mind?
How about we get to that first?
I've had enough of you two already.
Man, this is so right. I honestly, man, we called it. We like this movie.
We did.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's get into
start.
it, though.
Let's
go.
Yeah. I shouldn't be in charge
I
of the
think you
summer.
guys can take this. I think me and Dahlia are gonna go.
I'd like to sit back and watch this one.
Yeah, me too. Since you guys are so confident.
We're not confident.
Fake it till you make it, baby.
Yeah, baby. So Jim Carrey lives in New York. He's a little sad emo boy. And the whole beginning movie, it's very much plays into the tropes of sad, depressed man and a manic pixie dream girl. So he is waking up and he is on his way to work and he decides to be impulsive and catch a train elsewhere to
Montauk.
Montauk. And it's something that he doesn't usually do. He's not an impulsive man. And when he gets to Montauk, he meets Kate Winslet, also known as Manic Pixie Dream Girl, also known as Clementine. And this is where I felt like they really fell into the tropes, which I think get very subverted later, and I want to talk about it because I fully thought this is going to be very annoying, like this first scene, but it actually wasn't. But they were really annoying to me in the first scene because, you know, Kate Winslet's so quirky and he's so sad. TM.
I felt like I was both of these characters at the same time.
That's
Me too.
terrible.
I was thinking that too. I was like, I am in those situations where Joel, you're just like, okay, like I don't know what to say. I don't know what
but
to
also,
say.
like, oh my god, I'm so drunk. I'm so quirky. I want to talk to you. Let's be friends. But also, like, keep a safe distance. Like, honestly, you could have a knife.
You could have a knife. And so there was like, Sky kept looking at me and laughing at me because I kept going like every single time. Yeah, everything was a giant red flag from like Clementine's. She's like, we're going to marry each other. And he's like, okay. And I'm just like, I'm like, no.
You know, I felt
No.
that way too. I was just like, this is moving a little fast. Like, I don't remember this at all. And now, you know, at the end, you're like, that makes sense.
It makes
now.
sense. But like, it so falls into like those tropes in a very smart way because it's like, oh my God, this is wild.
It's so alarming how like quickly it seemed to. You're just like, how can just some stranger be okay with this? But you know, again, he was not an impulsive guy, and he's starting to, you know, fall into that habit of becoming impulsive. Something I don't think he even knew he had in him.
Because that's what a manic pixie dream girl does. It makes a man impulsive, brings out the quirkiness in him. Makes him
believe in love.
Makes him believe in love and in life and to laugh.
Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh,
love.
They did all three of those things in this movie.
Live, laugh, love, and forget.
Rinse and repeat. And I did write down this question at some point. Like, they spend the night together, and she's really insistent. Like, she's really like, you should stay, blah blah blah. And then like I think this before they like separate, and then Jim Carrey offers her a ride in the car, and they barely know each other. And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, I wouldn't have gotten in a car with him, with a complete stranger.
This is 2004. We know better.
I mean, would you guys have? That's what I wanted to ask.
If I was the same age, not me in 2004, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You mean like now? You're
like
talking
now
now
times. Like if you like, okay, if you have a whole
clicked
conversation
with a guy.
someone,
You clicked with a guy. Yeah.
Your current age in 2004, would you have done that? That's a better question.
No.
I don't think I would have.
I don't know. I might have. I'm
There
all
we
about
go.
adventures.
There it is.
I'm all about adventures.
You're looking to
But of
fucking
course.
die.
I I am 100% looking to die, but I'm all about adventures too. You know, if I really clicked with a guy and I was the crazy one that was really coming on to him first, you know, then I honestly was like kind of hoping he would take some sort of interest, you know, and if they offered me a ride, then okay, you know, and he asked to go, okay.
So obviously we know that they get along at the beginning of this movie, and then, you know, as we've said before, like this is basically the ending of the movie that we see at the beginning, because then suddenly like all these good times that they're having, all these little meet cutes and, you know, getting together is just suddenly stopped by Elijah Wood, who taps on the car window of which Joel is sitting outside of Clementine's apartment, and he's like, "Can I help you with something?" And he's like, "No." And that kind of just, you know, fades into the actual beginning of the story where after a fight, Joel, he discovers that his girlfriend, Clementine, had her memories erased by a New York City firm, Lacuna. And so he's like obviously heartbroken.
Yeah. He goes up to her, right? And she's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, he's like beside himself. He's like, "What do you mean? You're acting like you absolutely don't know me." And he's so confused. He's like, she kisses another guy in front of him, and it's like, yo, what the fuck? This ain't right. So he does a little bit of research, and he goes to his friend's house, and I think they received a message in their mail saying that Clementine has erased her memories of Joel. And then somehow Joel gets this little note, and he's like, yo, what the fuck? So he decides to go and see, you know, this place, Lacuna, and he wants to ask, like, this can't be real, right?
But it is real.
But it is.
So I guess this would be the time. Would y'all do it?
I thought
No.
about this a lot. Yeah. Wait, explain first, Alia. You say no. Explain.
Sure. You know, as we're coming from like Moulin Rouge, and like I'm a big fan of love, like I always say, like, to enjoy every relationship that you have and remember for the good times, even though there's like sucky times. It was a relationship, you had it, it's done, you know. And then of course in Moulin Rouge they say the greatest thing is to love and be loved in return. And also, like, what is that other quote? I don't know if it's like Shakespeare, like it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And I'm just like, that's it. So I understand that some people go through hurt and it's miserable, it's heartache, and, you know, it takes, you know, months, years maybe for someone to get over stuff. So, but I don't think I don't think it's ever that bad that you should erase your memories. Obviously in like very, very extreme cases, sure. But like for me, for the most part, I don't think I would go through with it, because I think as Joel was going through this process we'll talk about, because he does undergo this, I think he realized that he made a mistake. And that hit me.
I think it's part of your formative process. Like, where, like, extreme cases you're bringing up, I was like, yeah, I guess maybe, like, medically there, or, like, there are certain points in life where, like, let's say crime occurs where you really want to erase things. But, like, over petty things like heartbreak, you know, that seems so unnecessary to go through such extreme lengths. I mean, there was the one when he goes in, they showed, like, the death of someone's dog, and she wanted to remove all the memories of the dog. That's really sad. Like, that is really terrible, but I don't think that, you know, that's an extreme length for that. But beyond extreme cases, I think it'd be okay. Just live with it.
Yeah. I think the dog thing was I was like, because I was like,
I thought it was very sweet. I think it was a really cute, like, whatchamacallit, facet of the idea, but
I don't want
to.
I don't want to forget my dogs. I don't want to forget all the happiness they brought me. You know?
And if that's what it takes for you to get my point, that's it. I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget the good times.
Yeah, I do think, of course, like the extreme cases, if I could selectively like do moments, like specific moments, not a person, sure. You know what I mean? But I don't think, having gone through a lot of real fun shit this year, I don't think I would.
You mean last year?
Oh. Last year. Having gone through a lot of real fun shit last year, I don't think. I think like maybe the week of, I would have loved to erase it. I think post the fact, it has been so like these kind of things that happen are so formative to who you become. Becomes part of the fluidity of like your identity and like your life, and
Their core memories.
Yeah, I mean they're formative in like how you choose to process things later, and like how you can avoid situations like that later, or like how you choose to process grief. It all is all part of a formative process. So I wouldn't take it away because I feel like all the bad shit made me who I am now.
I would. That's that on that.
Period.
On period.
Like, you guys made some really good points, and I get that, but for me and stuff I've gone through, I'd rather just forget it.
Which is fair.
The dog, I do want to touch on the dog death, though, because God damn it. I'm the same way, whereas I would not want to forget my dogs.
Well, yeah.
I like dogs more than people. I'd rather forget people than forget my dogs, so that's that on that.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
I did want to know that answer.
Yeah, I would 100%.
Yeah, so obviously Joel decides to go with it too. He's like, she erased me, I'm gonna erase her. What is she gonna get out of it? Like, I have to live with these sucky memories. And like, I feel like there's been movies about that where it's like somebody was able to forget, and it's like I still have to live with those memories. Or I think that's also the trauma of like violent things. It's like they can move on with their lives, but I can't. And so I guess that's kind of in the same vein. And Joel is like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so he has to get all his shit together that ever involved Clementine. Like, so CDs they bought together, pictures of her, like little notes, like everything that she has ever touched in his life, which I think is wild. He has to put in a box, bring with him to Lacuna, and they're going to do some science.
Brain mapping. Memory mapping.
So
rewiring.
Yeah, basically what they do in preparation is like he'll look at the stuff, it'll incite some sort of memory, and it becomes like a code. So they all like all the code, they'll use it later to do that memory mapping so that he can forget it. Like, that's what they go into specifically to erase it, which I thought was a very clever way to put it. I feel like anybody watching the movie would understand and be like, that makes sense. I accept.
Yeah, I accept the pseudoscience.
This pseudoscience works. Let's keep it.
Yeah. And he goes to the place, Lacuna, and they meet the doctors basically that are going to do this. One of the technicians is Mark Ruffalo, which I scream. I scream. You scream. We all scream for Mark Ruffalo.
Nerdy college tech looking Mark Ruffalo.
Very college student, fresh out of college.
Mm-hmm.
He looks so young.
He looks so young.
Baby.
Like, so baby. Also, Kirsten Dunst is in it, and she's the assistant at the office.
Yep, she's the secretary.
And the doctor is Tom Wilkinson, right? That's his name? Okay.
Yeah.
And he seems very, very nice.
He's such a nice guy.
And I don't
They
know.
all seem fine. It's not
liked him.
sinister. Like, this is not like a Black Mirror sinister fucking like corporation. It's like they think they're providing a good and a service, and they are providing good and a service to people. And as long as you know what you're in for. So at no point I feel are they being like nefarious in any way. They're just doing their job. I think the act itself is debatable, obviously, because you could go either way. But they're all pretty nice, except for you know the fucked up shit that happens later that had us all gagged and gooped, which we'll talk about.
No, that's a good way to put it. So yeah, it's good. Joel is hesitant. You know, he wants to go through with this, but he's still kind of like, this is fucking weird. So they basically do all that stuff in preparation, and then they go, it's the night of. Like, we see him getting followed and being tailed or whatever. He makes it back home. And so he goes to his his room, and before he gets there, he runs into his neighbor who's like, hey, how about this person? But truly, he's so out of it. He's like not even paying attention. He goes into his apartment, and then they come in and they start doing their thing. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to take all those memories, erase them throughout the night so that he just wakes up the next morning without any memory of Clementine in his brain. So sad. So who joins us in the apartment? We see Mark Ruffalo, and I forget his name. And is it Steven?
It's Stan.
Stan? Why did she call him Steven then, the wife? She said, thanks, Steven.
No, she said Stan.
I'm not hearing things correctly. Obviously, the subtitles were not on for this movie. Okay.
It killed me. I had to pay attention.
Stan.
What? They weren't on.
No,
No,
they weren't
I could
on.
not put them on.
We could not get them on.
P.S. If you watch this on Peacock, which it is available on, we tried to put the subtitles and it just did not come on. And I thought it was crazy. Gave the control
Did
to
you have
Antonio.
subtitles? It might be
Wild.
because of the ads or something like that. Like the ad system maybe broke it a little bit.
What a way to get people to pay for a fucking subscription service. We won't give you subtitles unless you pay.
Like they didn't pop at all, and I was really confused. I was like, all right, me and Dahlia both tried, but we were, so I had to like actually try to pay attention to what they were saying, like words wise. Like
I don't know how you were
audio-wise,
able to
like,
hear.
I wasn't.
I wasn't.
I had to like think. I had to process what I was hearing.
But anyway.
I read so much faster than I can hear. I did want to ask this. So,
Yeah.
So when they come in and they start setting up, I was kind of confused. I was like, are they just breaking into this guy's home?
No, he gave them permission to
he
go in
must
there, I'm
have.
sure.
I was confused too. I was
clearly.
like, are they in his place? It took me a while to be
Yeah,
like,
they're in his place.
they're eating
like,
his
why are
food
they
and shit.
In his place?
Oh, no. I think that was very unethical. Let's get that straight. They were supposed to just go in there, do the thing, get out.
not
there's a
fuck
lot
on
of
his
unethical
body.
things. Yeah.
Cancel.
That's a spoiler.
Sorry.
But yeah, so a lot of things were super weird and like unethical, even for like 2004 college grads. Just
When ethics didn't
That
exist.
seems exactly 2004.
oof.
So Stan and Patrick, who's Elijah Wood, who we saw banging on the door, he's like, "Can I help you?" They come in to do the job. They both work for Lacuna, and then we hear that Mary's gonna come over later. So they're just chit chatting. They're erasing memories, and it's really sad. Like Joel is like, "What's happening to me?" Like he senses that there's something wrong the whole entire time, and he can also can hear what's happening. While he's sleeping, he can hear what's happening outside of his consciousness. And he hears all these conversations happen between Stan and Patrick. And like, turns out motherfucking Patrick was the person that Clementine was kissing. And remember when he was like, who the fuck is that? It's like, she doesn't even know me. It's fucking Patrick. And he's a piece of shit. Can I just say, I did not like Elijah Wood in this movie.
I did not.
I don't think anybody did.
His
Oof.
character made me so
annoying.
angry.
It was
He's a
so
little nasty
confusing. I was
boy.
like, I honestly, okay, so when they showed him, I was kind of confused with like the timeline and everything, and I was like, wait, did he like plan this or something like that? So
But of course.
like planning whatchamacallit to like wipe the other guy's mind or like plan or like some sort of like corporate conspiracy. No, he was just a massive bag of shit.
He was. Because he was there when Clementine got her memories erased. And he's like, I think I'm in love. And it's like, bitch, she's sleeping. What?
That's
You're in love?
Mark Ruffalo was like, bitch, she was sleeping. What are you doing? And then he
But
steals
she
her
was
underwear.
so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
And also I stole her panties. And I'm just like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
How do you guys feel about that word?
I hate
Panties?
that word. I hate that word. I hate that
it.
word.
Panties?
When I hear
Ugh.
somebody say the word panties, I'm like, that's
Perverse.
weird.
It doesn't sound, when I hear someone
perverse.
else
It's
say it, it doesn't
perverse.
sound right, but when I say it, I'm like, meh. Panties.
I don't like
Panties.
saying it.
I don't like to hear it.
I feel
Panties.
gross saying it.
Well, you're gross regardless.
But even more so.
I'm just kidding. It does feel a little weird. I guess it's like the same. Isn't that like the same way that most people feel about the word moist?
Yeah, moist is not a word that I super like. get
Moist is
chills
fine.
over. Moist is fine. There are lots of good things that are moist, guys.
I think about
Cake.
food. Yeah, I think about
I go
food.
with cake.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
pussy.
Water is moist.
Okay.
I don't know
All
that-
right. So
Is
another
water moist?
water is wet. The end. So Patrick.
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 That's-
Okay. Patrick stole the panties, and he's also
Stop
been
saying
using.
that.
He's been
What he
using
said.
all of Joel's memories. Remember, he had to take all of his shit that reminded him of Clementine with him. He left it at the office. They were gonna dispose of it after the procedure. So like, fucking motherfucking Patrick stole the stuff, and he's been using it as like bait basically to get to Clementine. Obviously, like, she's lived that life. She's gonna, somehow be naturally attuned to it. So it's like disgusting. Like, he's such a piece of shit, truly.
He's a
Massive bag
weasel.
of garbage.
Massive bag of garbage.
And like, all in the meantime, Joel is experiencing all these beautiful memories, and at first he's like so angry.
Well, that's because it starts from like the last time he sees her. It's
Right.
like it goes
It was raw.
backwards, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
He's like going
basically.
from like most recent backwards to just like that's their roadmap. Delete until they can try to get to the core and just rip it out.
Did you guys
Yeah.
like that progression?
Makes the most sense.
It
'Cause
makes
it's
the
so
most
much
sense.
fresh.
The pseudoscience works.
Then it goes to like the least fresh.
Yeah.
I was very shook. I guess I didn't really have much of expectations of what the movie was going to be, but I was very shook that 90% of this movie took place in his mind, which I thought was really cool.
Right.
Yeah. It made for like so many fun like tricks to play with camera and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch because it's all
The
happening.
cinnamon-
Mm-hmm.
The cinnamon
The
toast crunch
cinnamon.
of this movie.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch sponsor us.
I loved.
If anyone should sponsor us, it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
We've said their brand so many times.
So many times. Do you guys even like Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I 100%
It's all right.
do.
Really?
When we
I
were
love
at
it.
school
What?
and we got free
Maybe
breakfast,
don't sponsor us. I'm
I
so
did
sorry.
not
I didn't
pick-
mean to bring you this.
I did not pick up cinnamon toast crunch as my first choice. It was always like Frosted Flakes or something.
That is a choice.
At least I'm not putting that much sugar into my body as a child.
This body is made by sugar.
Yeah, this body
is
by
brought to you by
sugar.
sugar.
This body?
Body by sugar.
This body?
Bath and Body Works.
Sugar.
Enough.
Enough.
But I wanted to ask because I thought that like it was very charming, the progression of being so angry and raw, looking at your memories. Like, again, like, I think you should look back at the relationship fondly for the pieces that were good, but like, he'd been hanging on to that anger because it was so fresh, and then it was like chipping away. Suddenly he's just like, now I remember why I fell in love in the first place, and like in the whole process of all these beautiful memories and the wonderful, wonderful Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like those raw like footage with the very harsh lighting made such an impact, and it really like helped tell the story like emotionally. But somewhere towards that process, because we were not going to go into every memory, but he realizes, I don't want to do this anymore.
We were saying that this movie's a little hard to talk about because so much of it is just like memories just thrown at you about the relationship. And I don't know which one of you just said, you just had to be there. Mom, you just had to be there.
You just
It's
had
beautiful.
to be there.
It's so good. Like, it's overlaid and it transitions, like all the memories transition to each other, like so cool. But it's very hard to talk about. Like, we can't
Yeah.
go through each of them,
It's
but
like-
it's cool. It's like you really get
It's
a
just like
sense of who they
Eraserhead.
are. Yeah, very that. It's hard.
You have to experience.
Yeah, but
Something you have to be present for.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, fucking Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst are fucking partying and getting high. I would not have sex on Jim Carrey's body. And also,
Yes, that's where we were.
Jim Carrey, I'm just saying, his acting phenomenal when he's just laying there doing nothing. He's a genius. Brilliant. I've never seen...
Never been done
acting.
before.
Incredible. But yeah, like for me at least, I was getting the sense that like Mark Ruffalo's character Stan was into Mary. Like, and I thought that she was into him too.
Oh, they were into each other?
They had sex.
They had sex, they were vibing, but then, so Joel in his dreamscape is like, I want out. I don't want to fucking do this. So he's trying to like hide, basically, like so they don't take away his memories. And so he with like Dream Clementine, they're trying to like fucking figure out where to hide and what memories and all that. And so obviously this creates problems for Stan, who's trying to like, you know, erase everything. So they have to call Howard, who's the guy in charge.
The doctor.
Because they're like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. Because like,
I'm sorry, we were busy. Getting busy.
And did we mention that Patrick left?
No, yeah. You can definitely talk about that.
Yeah,
next,
so he calls Clementine? He calls Clementine.
Yeah.
And she's like freaking out. But she's she's freaking out about something. Like she just doesn't.
She's just hysterical, I guess, if that's the word to use. She's just like, I'm ugly. Why am I so ugly?
I'm ugly.
And, my skin's falling off.
Yeah. I was like, she said something very specific that I was like, ooh.
yeah.
That's a mentee bee.
Yeah, and he ends up leaving to go, console her because, he's a little creep. And he does take the stuff that Joel had of Clementine, and he uses, like, I guess the gift he got her?
Yeah, the Valentine's gift.
And
yeah, so he used the Valentine's gift, and then he also had, some of those other memories, and because he knows about their past, she's just like, let's go somewhere. Let's go to Montauk. Let's go to Boston. And then she's like, but right now. And then he's like, right now? And so he knows to use, like, that they've been to Boston. They go to Boston, and they do the whole,
They
like...
go to Boston or Lake Charles?
I don't know. How did you catch that?
Because he's paying attention.
Mom.
I was forced to pay attention.
Now we know how to get him.
Lake Charles. Like, they do the whole ice skating thing again. And he basically, like, word for word says what Joel said to Clementine to her. And she's just like, this is fucked. I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go immediately. And it's like, she doesn't know why it's fucked, but she just knows something's weird about this.
So she's like, get the fuck away from me.
Little creeper.
So Patrick's not there when Howard comes in.
And that's why Howard comes, because he's here to fix the problem, and also the backup is not a really good backup.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And that's when we notice that things are a little strange. Because like we said, we thought that like fucking Stan and Mary were really into each other, but Mary like fucking idolizes Howard, and I at some point went like it's very obvious.
Was it the things she said?
She said specifically,
tell me what you remember.
I really admire watching you work, Dr. Howard.
It's like,
and I was like, huh?
yeah, it's like watching a concert pianist. Like it's like the dreamy little like crush voice, and I'm just like, Mark Ruffalo is right
suspicious.
there. That's sus.
He's right there. You were just fooling around with him.
It just really feels disrespectful to me. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
It just feels so disrespectful. Knowing that he's right there and willing, and he looks so cute.
And he's just like, you know what? You got this. I'm going to go. Because Dr. Howard's trying to fix the problems. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something right. And of course, I don't know why, like, I guess because she likes him, Mary stays. And I feel like that's rather inappropriate because he's the head doctor and he should have probably sent her away. Or Mark Ruffalo should have been like, you want me to take you home?
Well, I think Mark also noticed that there was like something weird happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to step out. I'm just going to go take a walk. I've been here a while.
I need some air.
But he doesn't really like leave. Okay. Because he's there looking from the outside in
By the van.
I just don't know how this house is like that where you can just see clearly into the window, but I guess that's some stuff in the East Coast or a personal preference ?
Or you don't have fucking drapes or like some window treatment of some sort?
I think they were up, weren't they?
Oh yeah, you can definitely see clearly.
I think they
You can see so clearly. My drapes are up. You would see right into here.
Yeah.
Right into my eyes.
Through lots of places.
That's how windows work.
So Stan's outside and he's just chilling, getting some air, and he looks in. No. Hold on. No. So he leaves, and Mary gets a little close to Howard. And they end up kissing. Or she kisses him.
Oh,
she
yeah,
kisses him.
She kisses him.
And then she's like, oh my God, I don't know why I did that. I'm so stupid. And he's like, you're not stupid. We just can't do this. And then they end up kissing again. And then that's when Stan's outside and he can see in. And he's kind of like, oh, what the fuck?
Is this allowed? Is this allowed?
But then.
Oh, no, it's not allowed. Just so we're all clear.
Yes.
But then
Howard's wife comes up, skirt, in the little teeny car. The cars are all tiny in this movie. It's so cute. But she comes up in the car and she sees Stan outside, and Stan's like, ah! And he honks the horn because you can clearly see them kissing.
Because he's like, stop, please.
And then
he's
that's
like,
when the
"This is
wife
bad."
sees them kissing.
Yeah.
And then she smacks Stan.
He
Which
deserved it, but also...
Mama, I was so compelled by this drama. I'm like, oh, yeah. I know Joel and Clementine are doing thing, but I was like, what is happening
Wow.
here this day?
A side plot. This is so much more
juicy side plot.
Oh, my Lord.
Because what happens, Sky?
Well, obviously he honks and they look out and he can see his wife. So Howard's like, wait, no. And she's like, fuck this, I'm leaving. And she gets in the car and she starts driving away. And that's when Howard and Mary both come out. And they're, like, stop, don't leave. And she's like, I was just stupid girl with a crush, like, blah, 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 blah. And then that's when the wife stops and she's just like, come on, man, just tell her. And then what happens, Dahlia?
She's like, you wanted him, you had him.
You can have him. You did.
And it was like, huh?
You
And
what?
we realize Mary was a sleeper agent the whole time. I'm just Turns out Mary had undergone the procedure too. She agreed to go under the procedure to forget that she liked Dr. Howard. But you know what? Those fucking feelings came back.
The heart wants what it wants.
It does. It does.
Sure does.
And she is like so fucked up by that. Like she is
She's
like
upset.
walking. She's walking home by herself in the fucking nighttime. Fucking Joel is still getting his memories erased inside this while this is happening.
He's processing his grief while that's happening.
At one point, this is just interlaced between the memories and like Howard trying to get him back on the memory map. He like wakes up and like sees the three of them, and he's like, "Has this ever happened before?" And they're like, "Not that we know of, but it had happened a little earlier ago." Like he opened his eyes, and I was just like, "That's terrifying. That's like waking up during surgery or something."
You can't
That's
be
horrible.
this cannot. Nope.
Also, we didn't talk about this, but also when he's hiding and they're trying to erase his memories, like things start to get wonky, and it was so scary because their faces get all distorted and stuff. That shit was scary.
The
Because
distorted faces scare you?
he's going back to already erased memories. So
Yeah.
he doesn't really remember it as much. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's something about faceless people that is just
Or like
terrifying.
Elijah Wood's eyes, like being upside down.
Okay, let's be clear.
Oh, that was
Elijah
definitely
Wood's
like,
eyes
nope.
are scary, period.
They're interesting. His eyes are interesting. I don't
They
want to
are.
say they're scary,
They're
but they're
orbs.
definitely interesting.
They
Just like
had flipped him
on the
upside
day-to-day.
down. Just his eyes. It was too much. Anyway, at this point, Joel has come to terms with his losing his memory of Clementine. She's like, hold on to my memory. But he knows it's coming, and he's like, I know. And he's like, I know it's gonna happen, but
They accept
let's
it.
just enjoy it, you know? And I was like, what a beautiful processing of like your relationship. And this all happened in one night, under like a whole sleep. It happened in a whole sleep.
one sleep. Dreamtime is so crazy. One sleep can change the life, just like Inception.
That's
So
tea.
like, oof. Anyway, like, he has the procedure done. They fucking do it. They go through their final memory, and it's like really sad. It's like basically he was at the point where they had met. Everything was collapsing, and then he hears the last thing from Clementine. Meet me in Montauk was the last thing that she said in his memories, and yeah, they pack up, they put everything away. They take the little dots off of his head, and he wakes up.
And it's the
he's
beginning
like,
of the movie.
Yep.
Ah, it's so sweet.
Right back where we started, and we're like, oh no, all this journey is so sad.
It's so sad but hopeful, because now we know that the beginning of the movie, when they met, it was their second time meeting, and her hair, which has gone from green from the first time they had met to tangerine, it's now to the blue, which we saw at the very, very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so we now know that, like, they're meeting for the first time, but it's not done yet.
It's not. After they
It
have
ain't
their
over.
beautiful night. After they have their beautiful night, Patrick, again, from the beginning, he taps on the window. He's like, can I help you? Because he knows, he's like, oh shit, they're getting back together, because Clementine just got out of his car. And yeah, like, he's like, get the fuck away from me. Clementine comes back to the car. Patrick's gone. And she brings her mail with her. And in it is a letter, because this thing happened right before that. Just flashing back to a scene where it's the morning, you know, Stan is putting all the stuff back into the office, but Mary is coming out of the office with all of her shit. When she puts her shit in the car, we see that she has taken all of the files and all of the recordings, because they do recordings of the memory erasing. And she decides to send everybody who's ever gotten their memory erased their cassette. And so, flashing back into the car with Clementine and Joel, Clementine sticks it in the cassette player, and she starts saying all these terrible, terrible things about Joel. And he's like, are you fucking with me? And remember, at this point, they don't remember each other. They're complete strangers. And he's just like, are you fucking with me? What are you doing? And he's like, why would you say these horrible things to me? And she's like, I'm not. I don't think that at all. And he's like, get out. So she gets out of the car. He goes home. We are left to assume that he has found the same tapes. She goes to visit him. That neighbor that he met, where he was kind of like, you know, under a little spell, under drugs probably. He's like, oh, hey, Clementine, and lets her in the building. And she finds him. His door is ajar, which is wild to me. But she makes her way into the house, and we hear his tape of him saying horrible things about her. And he's like, I'm sorry I yelled at you. And she's like, it's all right. She's like, what's happening? They're so confused. At that moment, it was very, very heartbreaking for me.
Yep, but she realizes that she can't listen to all this terrible stuff that he's saying about her, because who would? That sucks. And so she leaves, and he runs after her. And they sort of kind of agree that, like, we shouldn't be together. Like, we're going to get sick of each other. Like, I'm going to get bored of you, and you're going to become me, and all this. And Joel's like, that's fine. So, like, they're, like, willing to go, knowing what they know about themselves, they're willing to kind of go through it. Not again, but hopefully, like, go through a relationship and try again, knowing what they know and being more aware of themselves. And it kind of leaves on them agreeing to try everything again, even with all the heartbreak that has happened. So it was a hopeful ending. Yeah.
It's so hopeful, and I think of that as a really positive, almost nigh happy ending. And so I was like, oh, it's so sweet. It's a lot better than some endings in, like, movies, you know, for the two main characters.
Yeah. It wasn't tragic. It's like, oh, things are going to be tough, but, like, the good stuff is going to be good. So let's go through that too. Which is nice.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
But you never know.
You never know. But you never know if you don't go. You never shine if you don't glow, so.
Hey,
All
right.
Oh,
But that's it. That's the whole movie.
Gold.
So.
Did y'all like it?
Antonelli?
Did y'all swipe right on this movie?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Woof.
Would you swipe right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you swipe right?
Huh?
On which on this
On the
movie?
movie.
On the movie? Yes.
That's why we're here.
No, I really liked it. I thought it was a really good movie. Wow, that sounds so rehearsed. But it was fun. I really liked the idea of it, and I liked the execution, and I'm really glad about the ending.
I too would swipe right. I love a movie about a relationship breakdown. I truly do. And it was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch really sold it for me. Like, I was annoyed at the beginning, but so much of like the tropes really got like changed. Like, I thought it was gonna be that, like, you know, that 500 Days of Summer Manic Pixie Dream nonsense shit.
You know, I was thinking about that movie a little bit during this. I was like, oh, it ends a lot like happier than like 500 Days of Summer. Like, that movie's ending is like, but
He's just gonna be in the same fucking cycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
In that movie.
Yeah, and this is like, it like Kate Winslet's character Clementine. Like, she's quirky, but she's not like, to me, like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl's like, there's no depth
Problematic.
there. Yeah.
there's no depth or self-awareness.
There's no depth to the character, and they're just there to like create character development for the male character. And like Clementine is like a really like complex person. She's mean. Like, she's not the like happy-go-lucky, quirky sort of person. She's impulsive, but that also is to a fault. Like, she drinks too much. She's like biting. She's, you know, and so I thought and she even says like, I'm not a concept. Like, she really subverts that trope that I thought I was really gonna not like. And so I really ended up liking it because of it. And the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is so good, and I love relationship breakdown, so I really liked it.
Hot cast.
Yes.
Hottest of casts.
I don't know about hottest, but hot cast for sure.
But hot cast.
I liked pretty much everybody in this movie.
Me too.
Except for Elijah Wood.
Elijah
Oh, but
Wood.
he's so
Look,
pretty.
it's his sideburns.
It's his
I
eyes.
couldn't do it. You said that. I did not. But yeah, otherwise very solid. Loved it. Jim Carrey, so surprising. You know, you would think that he couldn't play meek, but he did it so well. And also his character development throughout the whole movie. Like, he really painted a picture. He might be a comedian, but he is an actor too.
Mama, cut, paste, print, done.
I love him.
Send it
That's
to the
why I never
presses.
fucking doubted him, unlike some people in this room.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we didn't see this movie before this, so
Yeah.
we all, just thought he was just like, you know, funny. He was just supposed to be funny, and like if he
And
was hot, it was,
scary.
like, as a gimmick. But he was like actually kind of attractive in this. The rest and all of his other movies where he's attractive, it's like a gimmick.
I don't know. Ace Ventura did it for me.
Me too.
I've never seen it.
I've seen it, and that's all I'll say on that.
Ooh.
It's on the list.
It has not aged well at all.
No, it has not.
But he do be looking good.
Anywho.
I do.
I said what I said.
Kate's look good too with all her hair changes, you know.
Man, and I loved that, like, that was such when I finally like clued me in, I was like, wait, when I was trying to figure it out, and this is what I wanted to say at the beginning, when you figure out that her hair being blue was actually the latter part of the movie, like chronologically, I was like, oh my gosh, that means the beginning is the end. I was so happy to like figure that out, and I was like trying to figure out what was her hair at the very, very beginning, like when he met her, because I remembered her having her tangerine hair, and like the reveal of that at some point in one of the memories, and I was like, but what did he meet her? Because I thought he met her obviously on the train or the train station and everything, but when it was revealed to be green at the very, very beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so neat. And so that was like part of costume wise,
The hair tracks.
but also like character wise.
Yeah.
Man.
Also, her face is just so beautiful, and like she just fit this mold so good. Like she is also a great actor.
Also, real quick, Mark Ruffalo looked really hot. Soundtrack?
Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. Okay, so I was kind of spellbound the entire time of like
With
the train.
soundtrack?
Yeah, the soundtrack
Me
the
too.
entire time. I was like, wow, this is so good. That whole conversation on the train.
With the little
Was
oboes and clarinets.
That's whimsy.
I thought it was
That's
so
like
weird.
whimsical music. I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of like dated. Like, I don't know if you could get away with it in some movies today, but during like this like scene and like how they're interacting and everything, I was like, this is so whimsical and cute. I was spellbound. I was
Yes.
like, this is the perfect backdrop for music. And I
Because
was
it's
like, I
something
need to
odd
remember
about
this.
it. It's whimsical,
Just-
but also there's something off. There's something off about like this whole meeting, you know, like there's something happening here. So
The Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the soundtrack together melded this scene like so beautifully because you're just like, what's happening here? Like you can tell it was like silly and fun and lighthearted just by the sound.
And then that was like the most whimsical the movie got because the rest of it was just like dramatic and moody and dark. And I was like, man, I want to go back to that one moment where it was the meet cute on the train.
Costume.
Costume, set design,
Let's
location.
talk about sets. I feel
Um,
like we talked about the costumes very well. Did you love his Jim Carrey sweaters?
Yes, I did.
I
Jim
knew you
Carrey
would.
sweaters. And we talked about this while the movie was playing, but the pajama sets, that was also something that I was kind of jealous of because as much as I love the look of one, logistically speaking or like comfortably speaking, I'd prefer not to like be covered so much. Shorts.
you
all the
don't
way.
even know, man. You don't even fucking know the luxury it feels like. The silk.
If they made like super short shorts pajama sets, then I'd be like,
They
okay.
do.
They make silk
They
underwear.
do. Yeah.
I'm sure they do, but is it going to be quality?
Yes, you can find a quality
Good
shit.
question.
Anyway, favorite quotes?
Oof.
I didn't write any
The
down.
eternal sunshine of
The-
the spotless mind quote.
The quote that the movie's title is based on. Don't know what, I couldn't say it word for word, but
Nope, but it hurt me. I was like, oop. Mary said that one. She said that one as she was trying to be smart and cool in front of Howard when they were alone. She told him a Nietzsche quote and then that one by Alexander Pope.
Mine I wrote was I was really fascinated by I almost called her Tangerine by Clementine's character.
Is it I'm not a concept?
No, it's not. I'm not a concept, but it's part of that conversation. It's where she's like, "I'm just a fucked up girl looking for a peace of mind. Don't assign me yours." I really enjoyed the subversion there. It really makes me want to watch 500 Days of Summer and see what I think about it now.
Maybe, but also like, is it necessary? I will say this though. Back in the day, after I had watched that movie, I did listen to a lot of 500 Days of Summer's soundtrack.
Oh, because it's so good.
It was good. It was
a good
good. It's a really
soundtrack.
good
It's a
soundtrack.
great soundtrack.
We just don't like the story because it's sad and hurt.
That's not why. It's because it's dumb.
yeah, I'm like,
It's not
I
because
don't
it's
like
sad.
that movie.
It's because it's dumb.
And I rewatched it recently because I was like, let me see if I'm being too hard on this movie. And I watched
it's
it again.
bad?
And I was like, nope, I still don't like it.
warranted.
Okay, I won't watch it then. Honestly, I believe you.
It didn't
If
age
we have
any
the
better.
same feelings on that movie, it's probably not going
We
to
do.
change for you.
Okay, noted. Moving
What
on.
about you? Quotes?
I really didn't have that much of a quote. I mean,
Because you
aside
couldn't
from
pull it from the subtitles.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Got him.
Now, do I think this movie's worth the hype? Absolutely.
Truly.
I really liked it. If not for the, how do I explain? If you're not in it for the story, go in it for the fucking like, the technique, the visuals, the visuals, man. Or if you're in it for the story, it's very original. I can imagine for its time was like super like awesome. So like if you don't like one, there's something for the other side. Because again, just like the way it's filmed and shot, and just the way some scenes transition into each other was really fucking cool. It's good. I recommend this highly.
I would definitely want to watch this again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an anti-Valentine's Day movie though. Is it?
I don't think it's anti-Valentine's Day either.
I think it's almost like hopeful.
I think it's thought provoking.
Yeah, I think
depending
it's,
on what stance that you take.
I think it's a good
Going-
March movie.
Going back to that, like
March.
Yeah, just after Valentine's Day. Like you could be mad at Valentine's Day, but I don't think it's anti-Valentine's Day at all.
he doesn't want to link it to Valentine's Day, but
But
I
it is.
think
It does
too
talk
bad.
about Valentine's Day.
depending on where your stance on love and stuff. Like I think this could fall under that. It's still charming, but not in a like very very lovely way. You know, it's a story about making it work. But I think the beginning part, at the very least, is very anti-Valentine's Day. I think it was funny that they made like a little nod to Valentine's Day in the movie, so it's very like meta. We're making it meta.
Do you guys have any thoughts having rewatched it again?
I love it.
Yeah, I really
I
enjoy
love it. I could see why it's on that top 100 movies to watch before you die. TM.
Mm-hmm. What was I think there was a part where I thought I was like, ooh, that doesn't age well, but I can't think of it for a moment there. I was like, ooh.
Is that when she
When
she throws a queer slur?
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah,
there we go. I was like, oh, okay.
I too was like, huh? Hello, 2004.
Oof.
But otherwise, good. And not a lot to unpack there in terms of problematic stuff. Just that.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing that I was like, ooh, don't like that. It's the scene when he regresses to a kid in his memory, and they're like bullying him into,
killing the pigeon. Like
I think it was
already hurt,
dead or
but
hurt.
it needed to like be dead so that it wouldn't suffer.
I thought it was just dead.
I thought it was dead, and they were just trying to bully him into like destroying the body.
Yeah.
I don't
desecrating the poor little carcass.
That's
I was
fucked
hoping.
up.
That's just.
That's
nope.
why I cried. Like
You did cry.
I was like, it was so sad, and he was like in such a big moment, and physically he was an adult, his adult self, but he was like dressed in his like childhood clothes, and like the kids were beating up on him, and he really wanted to like make it different, but that's not how the memory goes. And so it made me really like emotional because he was like in such a terrible place, and he's like, I hate this, but someone was there to help him, like the little girl in the pink hat. Maybe it wasn't, Clementine, it was somebody else, but that really touched me. There are people who care about you. And
Where are
on
they?
this after Valentine's Day, I just want you to know you are loved. If you listen to this podcast, you're loved. I love you. Well, that concludes this episode of Sit Down, Loser. We're watching a movie. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye, losers.
Already deleting you from my brain.
All right, I'm stopping.
And now I'm stopping.